The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
You're listening to the Sports Scramble Podcast, where four friends serve up a weekly plate of sports with a side of SEC bias. Now, here are your hosts, Chet, Jacob, Wade, and Tyler.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome to this week's episode of the Sports Scramble Podcast. I'm your host, Chet, and we got Tyler and Wade. Jacob is nowhere to be found. He had a birthday yesterday, and we haven't heard from him since.
I think he went on a party yacht, and he just left us.
He's somewhere out in the ocean. The
Hey, that does happen, Chet.
That
does happen.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So who knows? Well, we are Sports Scramble, brought to you by A Belly Up Media. It's a Thursday night. We have a little bit of delay. I was traveling. The guys were traveling. We got work. We got everything.
Country roads.
Yes, I was in West Virginia. That's the first thing I heard on the radio when I landed. So, but how are y'all doing?
Doing pretty good. Can't complain.
Yeah, it's fun to come on a Thursday because we're a few days closer to the NFL playoff. You know, the conference championship games this weekend. We still got a lot of skin in the game with the Bengals and Joe Burrow. So, fun to be able to preview that for y'all.
And yes, we can claim the Bengals.
Yeah, yes, we can.
I saw that floating around on Twitter today.
Wade's Twitter rant of the week.
Yeah, I think you can totally claim the Bengals. I think you can claim any team.
I can claim whatever I want.
Yeah, like
he's an LSU legend. Of course, I'm going to claim him.
Exactly. Like I can go claim the Raiders because Jamarcus Russell played there. But
it'd be like the same thing if like Purdue fans claiming the Saints whenever Drew Brees was our quarterback.
Here's how you become an NFL
fan. I don't want to hear
fan.
from those people.
You use our Fanatics link. Chet, go ahead and give him the link. All right. Then you type that in your computer and you go buy whatever shirt you want because the NFL is one giant bandwagon. It doesn't matter where you're from. Most people don't live within 200 miles of a city that has an NFL team. So if I want to cheer on Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, I'm going to do it. Go Bengals.
Exactly. And if you're an audio
listener, in our instance, whenever, you know, your team is going through a 2-year stretch of not making the playoffs, you need a team to root for. And
it's all about entertainment.
We get with Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase. I don't care if you have two players or, you know, one player. Joe Burrow is like an LSU legend that, I mean, he's going to have a own statue by the stadium. So it's warranted that all these LSU fans are jumping on the Bengals train. So I don't even want to hear from those type of people.
Especially if you got money on them to win the Super Bowl, as the three of us do. So
it's an investment. We bought stock.
I root for Apple to do good because I'm invested in Apple. So therefore, I'm going to root for the Bengals to do good.
I trust Joe Burrow and
then also
more than any of my stocks.
And also as well, I mean, like for like Saints fans like us, like they have like former Saints players, Von Bell, Eli Apple, and then Trey Hendrickson.
Hold on now.
Tyler.
Well, Eli Apple, I know. Eli Apple is definitely like out of that, but like Von Bell and Trey Hendrickson, you know what they did for us during that time. I mean,
yeah,
I was so pissed seeing that.
Well, let's be real. They put that out there for the interaction. You know, people hate on them. It drives the page views up. People hate on us. Cool. Bring it on. Drives our interactions up.
And to clarify,
it's like whenever like David Pollack has said to Nick Saban straight up that Georgia's a better program overall.
That was
ballsy.
When's the last time David Pollack was trending on Twitter? It's been a while. I don't think
it's been a hot minute, but like after that, I mean, he got all the interaction that he really needed.
Yeah. But Wade, perfect segue into Fanatics. We're brought to you by Fanatics. For our audio listeners, you're gonna have to follow the voice because it's a long link. It's fanatics.93in6tx.net/sports scramble. Tyler, do you have the discount code?
Oh God, I do not.
It's also a Thursday, so whenever you're listening, just click our link on Fanatics. And you'll see the discount code listed there.
I'm pretty sure they emailed me that they have a 65% off site wide, and they do. It's Arctic. ARCTIC.
They were also doing a bonus.
So there's only 3 hours left, but so our audio listeners, you'll probably get another code. But I'm sure 65% off is usually the week, and then Sundays they're 24% off.
What was your bonus there, Wade?
I was saying I saw a bonus sale, 20% off all of the 4 remaining teams. For them reaching the conference championship game, you can get 20% off of Bengals gear, Eagles, 49ers, and Chiefs. So that's a good time if you want to use it to maybe get a jersey or something that's, usually $100+.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
True.
And then if you're on YouTube, of course, you see the link there. It's in our description. And if you're on YouTube, if you're catching us on YouTube, hit the subscribe button. We're trying to build that audience up. I don't say that nearly enough in our podcast. So we're gonna plug the YouTube. We want to keep it growing, grow the family, grow the scramble. Maybe one day we'll be able to play a scramble with all of our listeners. That's the dream. Will probably never happen, but it's worth a shot. So, but like we said earlier, we're on Thursday. I've got a beer. Wade's got a beer.
It's happy hour. The work week is almost done.
Yep, Tyler doesn't have a beer, but he will eventually.
I didn't get the memo.
Yeah, I just grabbed one. I'm
It's
trying
Thursday,
to
bro.
I'm trying to clean some space out of my fridge, and I had one more beer left, and I needed to put some meat in there. I was like, well, I'm just gonna take this beer out. I'm gonna drink that, and then we're gonna
Good trade.
go. Yeah, exactly.
There you go.
But like I said earlier, I was in West Virginia this week. Turns out it's a betting state. So sprinkle a little cash on Joey B to get it done and win the Super Bowl. There was when I checked into the hotel lobby, I walked down the hallway and there's a room. It says video lottery. I'm like, video lottery? What is that? So I explored. I walked in there. I thought it was gonna be like a lottery machine or something. It was slot machines lined down the wall, like arcade slot machines, like you see in the casino. And there was a dude in there that looked like he hadn't seen the light of day in like the 2 days or something. He had just been sitting there. He had a beer in one hand, cigarette
He's
in the other.
I'm not stopping until I hit this damn jackpot.
He was just hitting the button, just lifelessly, just hitting it. And I was like, huh, that's nice to know. That you have that opportunity to do that. I didn't go gamble, but I did place a bet on our friends. We were just hating on Barstool Sports. We won't hate on the golf podcast Foreplay. They do their for the cut bets, so I've been tailing them. And this week it was what's his name? Harry Higgs, Ricky Fowler, Colin Taryn, and Sahith Thagala to make the cut plus 800. Like I'll sprinkle a little cash on there like I do. And I'll allude to it later in the show and do our dog of the week. But it hit, so I'm happy. It was a lot better than what Wade and I had last week.
Yeah, why did I join you on the losing end of a 300-1?
Yeah, so last week Wade and I went
300 to 1.
together.
Wow, that's insane.
It was Harris English. I don't even remember the other three.
Yeah, I think you just put these guys in a random name generator, and then you're like, hey, these guys are on the PGA now.
Yeah. Well,
I got some learning to do on the names.
Wade and I had 3 guys make the cut, and Harris English bogeys like the 15th hole to drop 1 out of the cut line, but then managed to birdie the next 3, but he missed the cut by 1 stroke. And the cut was like 10 under last week at the American Express Open, which is insane for a cut line. But we lost
like
last
5
week.
under.
Yeah. Today it was even par at Torrey Pines, which I mean,
much more difficult course though.
yes.
Yeah.
That they were playing. Where were they playing last week? It was in California. They had like the 4 different courses.
Yeah, they were playing at like a bachelor trip course. I mean, it was like they can tear that up.
Yeah. Let's see where it was at. Use the Google machine. Oh, it was at PGA West, which is like there's like 4 different courses there. I mean, John Rahm won shooting 27 under. Like, yeah, it's John Rahm, but 27 under is insane.
That's like a Pee-wee course for him.
Yeah. So, but we didn't get it done last week, but I got it done this week, so I'm happy. I got a little bit of running around money to mess with on the Super Bowl.
There you go.
We'll see if I put some more bets. I was looking at my.
You can do the squares.
Yeah, we should get into some squares for the Super Bowl.
We can do some squares with our viewers on Twitter or something.
Yeah,
we could. Yeah, that would be a lot of fun.
Yeah, get a little thing going. Maybe we'll back that around.
We could give out merch, like
yeah, we gotta
get some squares.
We'll
think about it.
We gotta get the merch going.
Yeah, we gotta make some merch. So we have some connections through Belly Up, so we just gotta get it made. I I guess this to stick on the golf talk, I mentioned it before the show to y'all, and y'all hadn't heard about it. I called it the T Gate. You got Rory McIlroy and Patrick Reed, all-time drama, which I'm sure y'all know Patrick Reed is now on the Live Tour. Rory McIlroy, the poster boy for the PGA Tour and its fight against Live. Um, they're playing. He's playing over in the DP World Tour. It's over in like Dubai or something, and they had and that allows Live players to play as well. So Patrick Reed walks over to him on the driving range and says something to the guy next to him, and Rory ignores him. And then I guess Reed didn't like that, so he flicked the tee at him,
Oh,
which was like golf's version of like just throwing a haymaker across, like just benches clearing brawl. And Rory just like looked at him in disgust. And then they, obviously everybody's freaking out, like, oh my gosh, Patrick Reed could have poked his eye out throwing a tee. But when asked in an interview about it, Rory said that he didn't respond to him because he was subpoenaed by his lawyer on Christmas Eve. He gets a knock on his door that Patrick Reed is suing him. That may be incorrect, but that's what I'm going with. That he's suing him on Christmas Eve. He gets the subpoena. And when asked, he said something like, if the roles were reversed and I would have flicked a tee at Patrick Reed, I'd be expecting a lawsuit right now. And then like drop the mic and walked out of the press conference. So I thought that was funny. But yeah, you've got some golf drama, Live Golf and PGA Tour with throwing tees at each other. So Wade, watch out in a few weeks. I'm going to throw a tee at you and you're going to come after me.
it just doesn't make golf look very manly because
Nope.
in the NFL, that would be the equivalent of like Myles Garrett slinging his helmet at
Yeah,
Mason Rudolph.
almost killing him.
And in baseball, like maybe charging the mound with a bat. But in golf, the flick of a tee.
Max Homa had a funny tweet. Let me see if I can find it. It was kind of, he sarcastically tweeted this after their round. He said, had a nice time on the course today. 5 birdies, 1 bogey, no subpoenas. Very successful start to the week. And Colin Morikawa said, was so close to throwing a tee at you, but you're too nice. And I was like, okay, now they're just having fun with it. But yeah, little golf drama there. I mean, golf season's heating up. I don't know if y'all saw the TikTok I sent y'all on that guy that has traveled around the world or around the country in his van playing on the municipal courses and like interviewing people and has written a book. We'll give him a free plug here. Let me find the name of the book. But I think we could definitely paired up golf. That's his TikTok. So if you're listening and you're interested in this, go check it out. I'm gonna reach out to him, see if we can get him on the show once football slows down. We get some cool interviews. I think he'd have some pretty sweet stories. He goes to just random municipal courses and just plays with random people and like gets their life stories and stuff. So that'll be some interesting stuff to hear. But Tyler, I'm seeing also in my notes betting woes continue for Jacob and Tyler. It's not looking good for y'all. You're on the losers bracket.
No. Yeah, Jacob and I decided to bet on the Buffalo Cincinnati game last weekend. And let's see if I can remember. It was a 5-leg parlay. It was a plus 2,000. It was looking pretty good. We had Jamar Chase anytime touchdown. That was literally the first drive. Didn't take much. Yep. Joe Burrow over the 1.5. It was the touchdowns check. It only took him like the first quarter. And then this is where it decided to go downhill. I took the over in Stephon Diggs receiving yards. It was 81.5. He only got like 37. So that didn't happen.
Off the field.
And then Jacob convinced me to take Dawson Knox touchdown, and the Bills only scored 1 single touchdown, and that did not happen. I can't really remember the other leg, but Jacob had the most bold one. He did Cincinnati money line. At the time, I thought he was crazy, but Cincinnati ended up blowing the doors off of Buffalo. He pretty much had the same as me, but he also did the over, which never really stood a chance during that game.
Yeah. Especially
not with the conditions.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it was a blizzard.
I saw on ESPN today that a reporter was saying something along the lines of like, if Cincinnati doesn't win, they'll always be viewed as the underdog. And like, if you're Joe Burrow, you have to win the Super Bowl this year if you like want to be the best quarterback in the NFL or something. Like, do y'all agree with that? Do you think Cincinnati's
No.
always the underdog?
I think they're
like
still fresh, like they're still likable because they kind of seem like they're on the come up. But I mean, they are kind of right to the fact that if you get to the Super Bowl 2 years in a row and you don't close the deal, it's very hard to get back. And I'm not saying the window's closing for Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase because they're young and they'll probably get contract extensions. But as they do, it's going to get more expensive and it's going to be harder for the team to keep the level of talent they currently have. So I really do think they have this year and maybe next year with the current roster construction. But, we've seen teams get to the Super Bowl and come nowhere close to getting back. Look at Atlanta and Carolina.
Look at the
like
Rams last year or this year. I mean,
but at least they got it done.
Right.
They got the win.
Injuries really hurt that team with Stafford going down and losing Cooper Kupp.
Mm-hmm. I will say one thing that's most impressive is Joey B came out there. I mean, we'll jump into the NFL recaps. I mean, he balled out there against the Bills with 3 offensive linemen missing. I mean, there were 3 backups in the game, and that was the whole off-season story. They got offensive linemen. Last year the reason they didn't win is because he had no time to throw, and these guys came in, and I mean, they must have heard the noise, and they showed up and performed. So I got high hopes for Joey B get into Arrowhead next week.
But did you see what happened when he lost a little bit of time from the line? I mean, it looked just like him and Jamar from a year ago. Early in the year when the line was healthy and Jamar was healthy, they were trying to stretch the field more using Jamar as a deep threat. But over the last couple of weeks, Joe's been getting the ball off a lot quicker. Jamar is getting more involved in those intermediate routes, running 8-10 yards up the field, making a catch, and really getting his athleticism on display. And I think, even in a perfect situation, that's something that they could really use to their advantage for their offense.
Yeah, I mean, you just eat away at that defense and then hit like a play action deep ball and throw it to Jamar. You got T. Higgins. They're tied in. I can't remember his name.
Hayden Hurst.
Hayden Hurst has been,
and Tyler Boyd, of course. You can't forget him.
That was the last one. That one hit. It was over the. It actually didn't hit. He had only 1 catch for 23 yards. I thought I was going to be good, and he ended up not getting a catch.
Well, maybe if y'all put another little 5-leg parlay on this week, it'll hit.
Yeah, I think that's what we're going to do. But going back to this game, I was definitely impressed with the offensive line play. I think they really held up against Buffalo. Buffalo's defense has really been missing Von Miller throughout the season. I mean, Buffalo's defense really got exposed in this one. Their cornerbacks, I mean, there's multiple times whenever Cincinnati was driving in the red zone that they got flagged for pass interference. But I think that Cincinnati going into this weekend against Kansas City, I think, like you mentioned, the narrative has been that they're the underdog, but I think that the narrative is starting to change. I know that they made it to the Super Bowl last year, but if they can get over the hump against Kansas City, I think that narrative is going to change. That they're going to be the hunted coming in the next year because they're going to now be back-to-back AFC champs, and there's really no outside team of the AFC teams. I mean, Kansas City has really been consistent. Buffalo hasn't been able to get over the hump, and they showed it. Like, they literally had everything in front. They had the weather conditions that Josh Allen has been playing in, and Allen, I mean, Cincinnati's defense, you also got to give credit to them. They really brought the pressure. We didn't really see Buffalo make as many big plays as we thought. So I think that Cincinnati is really a red-hot team, and I think that Kansas City has to be the underdog going into this weekend.
So the lines have shifted now that Patrick Mahomes is quote unquote healthy. It's now it's now a pick 'em. The spread is even. It just says PK, which I assume means pick 'em. I have no idea.
Yeah, it's a pick 'em.
I'm waiting for it to go back to Bengals being a underdog with some plus money.
Money line is Bengals -108, KC -113. So, like I said, basically pick 'em.
So the casino's getting their juice either way. Nobody's getting money.
Yeah. San Francisco's +2.5 on the Eagles. We can jump into that one. I mean, the offense didn't look that great against the Cowboys, San Francisco's, but their defense held up, forced turnovers. who would have thought Dak Prescott throwing interceptions was going to be the Cowboys' demise? And I mean, we got to talk about the last play of the game. I mean, it's like, hey Zeke, I know you want to be a factor in this play. Go out there. We're going to get you the ball, but first you got to snap the ball. That's how you're going to touch the ball.
And then he get absolutely plowed by San Francisco's linebacker.
I mean, what did they think was going to happen? That they were going to not try on the play?
Yeah, I mean, I think the hope you got Ty at the bottom of the screen there on the left side of the field. I think the plan was for him to get the ball because he had a bunch of offensive linemen in front of him, and they just bull rushed Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott. So they just got it off. Dude got lit up, and the season was over. And I mean, I don't think any of us picked the Cowboys to win this game.
No, we were
I
all
don't
on
think
San
so.
Francisco.
Yeah. So how's the pick'em looking, Tyler? Did we go 4-0 last week? I think I picked.
Yeah, Wade got 4-0, and everyone else went 3-1. So not too shabby. We were all hovering around 500. But yeah, going to this game, I mean, the Cowboys' offense definitely did not look good. Their first really drive went as abysmal as it was. The only touchdown that they got was Dalton Schultz, and Brett Maher was probably their MVP. As bad as he is at kicking extra points, he's pretty good at kicking the regular field goals.
They're going to have a short distance kicker and a long distance kicker.
Yeah, hold on.
Absolutely.
Let's talk about this for a second. So everybody was giving them crap when the first one got blocked, which I guess it was really his fault.
It was going to miss.
Yeah. But how do you miss extra points like 7 in a row, but you make the field goals that are harder from longer distances?
It's like
chipping on the
mental
green
thing. It's like all a mental thing. It's like golf. Like whenever you miss one, then you're going to miss like the next 7.
I mean, the moment you scald the crap out of a golf ball from 10 feet from the green, you are hesitant every time you walk up there again.
That is true. And
I know I am.
when we have the yips as golfers or just in any sport, it's also not broadcasted to 6 or 7 million viewers.
I mean, everybody was on this guy after every miss.
And it's an expectation, right? Like if he misses the field goal, we're used to that. But this is like right up there with a free throw. Actually, it's probably viewed as easier than a free throw in terms of sports.
And craziest thing is, like, he had the most points of any kicker this season too.
Yeah, he was one of the better kickers.
He was a fantasy lineup saver. Throw him in.
Yeah, he was the number 1 fantasy kicker this season.
You think he has a job next year?
Yeah,
I think he will,
because the long distance field goal talent's there. I mean, he's one of maybe 5 or 6 kickers that can boot at 55 yards.
Yeah, I mean,
consistently.
He'll probably get into the offseason and all he's going to do is kick extra points, and he's going to be dialed in come next year. Yeah.
It definitely is.
It's a mental thing. But yeah, I mean, 49ers take down the Cowboys. It's excuse me, it's something that not even the NFL script writers could have thought Mr. Irrelevant potential to win the Super Bowl this year as a starting quarterback. So
it's getting closer.
I think it will make teams really think harder about their 6th and 7th round draft picks. I mean, you can get a lot of value out of those positions, and if a guy's not working out in training camp or something, then you just cut him and you put him down on the practice squad. But there's nothing to be lost. But at the very least, San Francisco has a young, controllable quarterback that can be potentially the starter or the backup for the next 3 years for nothing, pennies on the dollar.
Yeah, I mean, they didn't have to pay him a dime, really. Well, yeah, they had to pay him, but compared to what they're paying Trey Lance, and this kid's about to potentially lead you to the Super Bowl. And the teams that he's facing just routed the Giants. I figured the Eagles were going to win, but I picked the Giants because they were the underdog. But 38-7, come on, they didn't even give up a fight.
Yeah, I didn't see that one coming.
I thought the Eagles would start a little slow. They had the bye week. No, they just rolled up in there and just demolished them.
The Eagles are a tricky team. I mean, they're not as flashy as the Bengals or the Chiefs, but when that offense is humming and they can run the ball, they're tough to stop and they control the clock, So if they're consistently running down the field and scoring, say, every 3 out of 4 drives, I mean, it's going to be hard to beat. I'm interested to see how San Francisco can match up because they pride themselves on their run defense.
Right. Tyler, I don't know if you saw the Eagles head coach compare Jalen Hurts to Michael Jordan. What do you think about that comparison right now?
I think that Jalen Hurts is having an MVP level season, but comparing him to Michael Jordan is absurd. I mean, I don't know. He definitely has the talent around him. I'm not saying that Jalen Hurts is a great quarterback, but I think that AJ Brown, that's the addition of the offseason for the Eagles. You go from a guy like Jalen Reagor, who's dropping passes left and right, to AJ Brown, a tough physical receiver. Pair him up with Devontae Smith, a really good route runner. He has the speed on the edge to beat you. So I think, I really didn't expect this to be as big as a blowout. It did pick this Eagles team to beat the Giants. I was very high on the Giants throughout the season, but I just felt like this was a really tough matchup. They really struggled against the Eagles defense. The Eagles defense is going to be as good as anyone, whatever offense, especially against San Francisco's offense and Brock Purdy. He's a rookie quarterback, so that's definitely a concern if you're a San Francisco fan going into the link with a very physical defensive front, especially with Fletcher Cox. You have a really good secondary of Darius Slay and C.J. Gardner-Johnson, so that's definitely going to be a tough matchup to watch.
Yeah, I mean, I've been seeing the TikTok hype videos. Jalen Hurts with what's the song? Superhero.
Oh, did you see that Alabama actually the football Twitter account posted? I think it was like they were like pretty much claiming Jalen Hurts like MVP, NFL MVP finalist.
I'm torn on
That's
that
another
one.
thing. Like we
Let's
can
talk
debate
about that too. Ohio State can't claim Joe Burrow. Alabama can't claim Jalen Hurts.
I would say both schools can claim both of those guys. I mean,
well,
I
think
Joe
Alabama
Burrow is an Ohio State grad, so I get where Ohio State fans can claim that, and also LSU fans can claim him since he won him a national title and won the second ever Heisman at the school.
I think Alabama fans could probably claim Jalen Hurts more than Ohio State can claim Joe Burrow. Joe Burrow didn't even play at Ohio State.
Yeah, he was a backup.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts was their starter. He won the Heisman at Oklahoma.
It was like three
right?
years, I believe.
I think the tactical thing to do is
he was the Heisman
congratulate
finalist that year. It was 2019. That was his final year there, and then he went on to the NFL draft and was a second rounder.
Yeah,
like they can put out a congratulations to Jalen Hurts. That's fine, but like I wouldn't put him in the Alabama like Hall of Fame if he ends up winning multiple MVPs and a Super Bowl. But I think Joe Burrow, you could do that. But I don't know. Jalen does have a degree from Alabama too.
Yeah, I don't know what the exact tweet was, but it was pretty much like Alabama claiming him.
What are we gonna do with the transfer portal era? Like, what if Quinn Ewers like becomes an NFL superstar? I mean, he was at Ohio State for a hot minute,
Well, yeah, that's what I think Ohio State can't put Joe Burrow in the Ohio State College Hall of Fame. Like, he played like a couple downs, and he played their spring games. I mean, LSU obviously can
pretty much whenever Ohio State was up big.
Yeah, I think wherever the guy finishes, that's the school that he should be recognized as going to. That's what I mean. Like, I saw one argument that said Jalen Hurts didn't really have his development into the thrower that he is until he went to Oklahoma and played under Lincoln Riley.
Yeah,
he definitely did air it out a lot more at Oklahoma.
Yeah. Yep. Well, Big 12 defenses allows you to do that.
Yeah, so I don't know. I get the MJ references right now from Philly because they're just trying to build a narrative.
Yeah, I get that.
They're just that like silent team. I mean, their fans aren't silent. We know that. But there's like everybody's talking about Joe Burrow and the Bengals or Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs or Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, but everybody's like not talking that much about Philly. So I think the coach is just trying to like build a narrative.
Really, like every storyline has been around all the three teams except for Philadelphia, and they would love nothing more than that.
Yeah. I still think Philadelphia is very dangerous, and I've had them in the championship game since we did the Pick'em challenge through our network, and I think they'll get there. I do.
Well, They got to go through the 49ers, and the Bengals have to go through the Chiefs, who took down, I think, was America's favorite team after they came back and beat the Chargers. Took down the Jaguars. No Waffle House dinner for Trevor Lawrence, but I think they had a season with a lot to build on. So I think we'll see the Jaguars next year in the playoffs. What are y'all's thoughts on that?
Yeah, I agree. I think they definitely found the right coach. I mean, going from Urban Meyer to Doug Peterson is definitely a step up. I think that Travis Etienne really had a good season. You really saw the connection of Trevor Lawrence and Etienne. I think that the wide receiver play also stepped up as well. We saw guys like Zay Jones stepped up. He had a really phenomenal career. And we saw Jaguars defense really evolutionized from one of the worst defenses we saw ever in NFL
Yeah.
history, and really guys that can fly around the ball. I think that Trayvon Walker really had an impressive rookie year. We saw Josh Allen, what he could do at the middle linebacker spot.
Not
Louis
the
Kahn,
Buffalo Bills quarterback,
yeah,
folks.
uh,
The Jaguars
Louis
middle
Kahn
linebacker.
was the leading tackler in the NFL. So, and then you have Jenkins, their top cornerback as well. So they definitely have talent on both sides of the ball. They'll have a really good draft pick. They'll be in the late to middle 20s in this year's upcoming NFL draft. So I think that this Jaguars team, and especially with the way that the AFC South is right now, with the Tennessee Titans, the way there are situations that it's pretty much Derrick Henry and everybody else. The Colts are just a dumpster fire of an organization. So I think that the Jaguars are going to be right back in the playoffs next year.
Yeah, that division's definitely down. I mean, we could have a very young division of starting quarterbacks there with potentially Bryce Young and like maybe Will Levis or something starting in that division, and then whatever the Titans want to do. I think they'll try to bring in some competition from Malik Willis and maybe cut Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah,
Man, the Panthers just hired the former Colts head coach and Frank Wright today as well.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Jeff Saturday.
Nope.
He's getting a second interview for the Colts job, which is absurd.
Yeah, that would be the worst hire ever.
You got what you like. You don't need an interview. They went 1-7.
So, did y'all see that? What's it from Alabama? Bill? Is it Bill? No,
Bill O'Brien.
Bill O'Brien.
Yeah, Bill O'Brien accepted the offense. Where did he go? I had it
The
on
New
here.
England Patriots.
Yeah,
he went to
offense
New
coordinator
England.
at New England, and then you had Nathaniel Hackett accept the offense coordinator job for the Jets, which was surprising. But he did succeed as an offense coordinator, just not so much as a head coach.
Well,
we're gonna find out if it
perfectly
was
for
more
Rodgers.
on Russell Wilson or Nathaniel Hackett.
And then we had some drama with Sean Payton. Some guy tweeted that Sean Payton didn't get along with someone and was not going to the Broncos. And Sean kind of clapped back at him and said, not true. I had a great interview with the Broncos and look forward to more conversations. I was like, oh, so that sounds like he maybe leaning more towards the Broncos. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe Russell Wilson was a good quarterback under a good coach. We just saw this last season it was terrible. So I think if he gets under Sean Payton will have that team turned around, and it'd be a good fit. But Chargers still haven't fired their head coach. If I'm Sean Payton, that's where I'm going if that position's open.
Getting too late
Cowboys
to do that.
Will be interesting too if they let go of McCarthy.
Did you see that? What's Dan Quinn is staying for Cowboys? He's returning as a defensive coordinator.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, so we'll see. Before we get into our AFC and NFC championship picks, I want to ask, if you're playing in the AFC or NFC championship, what are you listening to pregame? What's on the headphones while you're on the field warming up? Tyler, we'll let you start it first because Wade is fighting off his dog in the background.
Okay, I'll do this for the memes. The Burger King commercial.
Whopper, Junior,
That's
Whopper,
what I wanna
double,
hear.
triple, whatever it is.
But no, realistically, honestly, I'm sure that you'll be on the same boat. But I'll take any Migos song, whatever
Okay.
it was playing, and especially the new ones, Hotel Lobby, Rex Too Skinny, anything like that. That's what gets me hyped up, and that's why I listen to at the gym. So that's what I listen to at the playoffs.
R.I.P. Takeoff right there. Wade,
Yep.
what are you listening to pregame before your playoff performance? And he's muted.
Nickelback,
Rookie
baby.
mistake.
Wade's
my
going
gosh, I
with the
knew that was coming.
Nickelback.
Guess who's going to a Nickelback concert in July? This guy.
You.
Yeah.
Who's wearing
I
an
don't know.
old
Where's it
Will
at?
Wade shirt and going to a Nickelback concert?
That's a confusing signals there, but no, I don't know. I think the Migos is a good answer, Tyler, and Kevin Gates, of course, a little boozy, all the Louisiana dudes.
Definitely some
Yeah,
booze
can't
in
go
there.
wrong with any of the Louisiana artists.
So mine's gonna come to a shocker to y'all. It was actually when I
Oh,
was
no.
listening to the gym last time. Now, I think he catches some hate because of when he came popular in our lives, because we were like 12 years old. He was also like 12 years old. It's the man Justin Bieber. If you pull up his
Oh.
essentials playlist on Apple Music, it's fire.
I like Bieber, but I just don't view it as pregame music.
Well, his older stuff, not so much. But his new stuff now, you get like I say new, but not as old. Some Never Say Never with what's his name? Will Smith's kid,
Yeah.
Jaden.
Yeah, Jaden.
That slaps. You got I'm blanking out on the songs. Oh, Stay with Kid Leroy. That's a banger. I put that on in the gym and I'm just like in the zone. I've been listening to some Justin Bieber essentials. So I wanted to throw that out there for the podcast. If I'm pregame,
He's not ashamed.
JB's going in the ears.
From Taylor Swift to JB now.
You're a believer?
I'm a believer.
Chet is a 14-year-old girl.
Pretty much. But I mean, I don't know. It just gets you hyped, takes you back, gets you in the zone. But then, of course, can't go wrong with the Migos. I still got the Migos poster. It's somewhere in one of these closets with my boy Quavo. So we'll have to get Jacob's answer. Maybe throw it up on Twitter whenever we hear back from
I
him.
feel like he's like probably a classic rock type of guy.
Jacob strikes me as like a Beatles dude. It's like throwing on some Beatles.
Beatles.
Like
I gotta say, like some
Yellow Submarine
AC/DC
before
or something before the game, like when the stadium plays it.
Yes.
Pretty cool.
Hell's Bells in there.
Yeah, some Back in Black, just like rocking and rolling.
Thunderstruck.
Sandstorm, though, that's a good pregame song.
Or
Sandstorm.
if you're in Philly, Dreams and Nightmares, Meek Mill,
dude,
that might be the hardest
See,
thing
that's
out
like
there.
one of the reasons I want them to make it back to the Super Bowl. That way they can do their entrance like that, because that was the most, what entrance
That's
in the
it's
history of
insane.
Super. And then the stinking Patriots come out to like some like crazy train, and it's like, well, you're gonna get beat by 40.
Yeah, no, the Dreams and Nightmares it's perfect. And I mean, let's talk about Philly sports for a second. The Phillies make it to the World Series, lose. The Eagles have a chance to make it to the Super Bowl. We'll see what happens. 76ers, I think, are on a little bit of a heater right now. I don't really follow that
Yeah.
much
I think,
76ers
they're
basketball.
second. They're either second or third, I believe, in the standings.
There's their MLS team lost in the championship. Hockey team, I don't know if they're doing good or not, but there's a trend of Philly teams making it to the championship and losing. So we'll see if the Eagles can break that trend. But let's go picks. AFC Championship, Chiefs versus Bengals. Is that the first one on Sunday, or is that the?
No, that's
first.
the 5:30 our time. I believe the first game is 2:30, 1:30, something around there.
I think it's at 1.
Well, let's go AFC.
Good one.
Chiefs, Bengals. Wade, who you got?
It's very hard to beat Kansas City 4 times in a career and not lose. But I think Joe's hot right now, so I'm going to stick with the Bengals.
Joe Shiesty. Tyler, who you got?
Yeah, that is definitely is interesting stat. Joe Burrow has Kansas City's number. I think really the key in this one is how healthy is Patrick Mahomes is going to be. I definitely know that he's not going to be 100%. So really, how mobile is he going to be? Because that's really what makes his game, Patrick Mahomes' game, with his sidearm throws, and he has the ability to get a couple of first downs, so you don't know how he'll be able to do that. So I think that Travis Kelce is going to be a big part in that. Jared McKinnon has also really been a stud out of the backfield, not only running the ball, but he's also really pass catching back. But really the problem that I have is the Chiefs defense really hasn't impressed me throughout the season, especially losing the Honey Badger in the secondary. They just don't really have that guy. They have L'Jarius Sneed back there, who's really been good. But as Wade said, you got to go with the hot hand. I think that Joey B gets it done. I know it's challenging to beat the Chiefs in Arrowhead, but they just beat the Bills in one of the most craziest environments. It was in the snow. It was a jam-packed stadium. So I think that Burrow's up for the challenge. Like I said, he's going to play anywhere, anytime. This Bengals team really has gotten that swagger, or Burrow really bought into that. So I think the Bengals go back to the Super Bowl.
I'm rolling Joe Burrow. Send your refunds to the Bills fans. They're not playing in a neutral site game.
That was a quote.
It is nice that they're playing at Arrowhead, not in Atlanta.
Yes.
I think it's fun.
Yes. Joe Burrow is so locked in right now. Just that whole Bengals team, I feel like, is so locked in.
They're on their revenge tour this year. You can tell.
Joe Shiesty, he's show up in his Gucci not Gucci. He is not. What does he rock? What sunglasses? The Cartier sunglasses with the turtleneck. I can already see it. His LSU bracelet, and they're gonna do another cool. I mean, the video of him pregame versus the Chiefs, the slow mo throw and
it's
spin
going to be
around.
snowing again.
I don't know.
Give us a weather report.
1 second.
I think the snow already rolled through
it's
Kansas and Missouri earlier this week.
If it's cold down here, then it's got to be like the 30s.
Sunday, high of 26, low of 12.
Oh my gosh.
Precipitation is 0. He's basically playing in Death Valley, baby.
No snow, but it's freezing. So
yes, it'll be very cold.
Joe's from Ohio, but Jamar, I thought his hands were going to fall off when he caught the first pass the other day, being from Kenner.
Yeah, he's not used to that ball. No, fine. I'm rolling Joe Shiesty. 3-0 here for the Bengals. We'll put out the graphic when we get Fudge's pick. But over to the NFC, we got the Eagles versus the 49ers, the early game. Tyler, we'll let you start it off. Who are you taking?
Yeah, I think that these are two of the best defenses in all of the league. I definitely think that Brock Purdy is definitely going to be able – let's see. Really the question I have, I think that Philadelphia is going to try and put all their chips into stopping Christian McCaffrey and just say, like, if Brock Purdy can beat us, then so be it. I got to go with Philadelphia, though. I think that the home crowd advantage in this one. If it was in San Francisco, I probably would have gone with San Fran. But the way that Jalen Hurts, I mean, that offense really impressed me. This is the Eagles team that I've really been waiting for. They've been a little inconsistent down the stretch, especially whenever they had Gardner Minshew at the helm. But Jalen Hurts is really I think that he's going to do a phenomenal job. It's going to be one of the more lower scored. I think that the AFC Championship is probably going to have more points combined. The NFC Championship is going to be a defensive game, like a 17-21 type of game, something like that, coming down to the wire. But I got Philadelphia. So I had San Francisco originally going to the Super Bowl, but the way that they played against Dallas, I really lost a little bit of hope in them, especially on the offense. I think that their defense will be able to match up quite well, but I got to go with Philly, especially at the link.
Okay. Wade, you agree with them, or you
take? I do. I'm also going to go with Philadelphia. I think it's tough to go all the way across the country.
Yeah.
And get that done. And I just think Philadelphia is dialed in right now. I mean, we saw them close the regular season strong against the Giants. They didn't have to play the first week. They got the bye. And they really came out again strong against the Giants. So it is a little different now. They have to play outside of their division for the first time in a bit. But I just think that the way they can control the clock with the run game and just how efficient that offense is, I just don't think San Francisco is going to have many chances to come up empty scoring wise or really make any mistakes. And I think that Philadelphia gets it done.
So weather won't be nearly as cold in Philly, 52 degrees, 20% chance of rain. But I don't know, man. The 49ers, they've won 12 straight now.
Yeah, they're 12-0 ever since week 8.
It's going to be I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to be a defensive battle. But for sake of being somewhat different, give me Mr. Relevant making it to the Super Bowl this year. Brock Purdy I think, like you said, Tyler, they're going to focus on Christian McCaffrey. But Brock Purdy's going to get it done, spread it out to Debo and Kittle and whatnot, and maybe sprinkle in a little
Kittle
Brandon.
has been on a heater too.
A little Brandon Ayuk. Kittle almost got his head taken off last week by Trayvon Diggs. Avoided that tackle, but I'm going 49ers. So make it a little different. But the three of us are going to be watching on our television, sitting on the couch, maybe drinking a few cold ones, hanging out. But the feeling of being at the arena is a priceless experience. That's where our friends over at SeatGeek are there to help you find the best tickets at the best prices. Wade just bought some tickets at SeatGeek. Not only can you get tickets to sporting events, but you can get tickets to concerts, comedy shows, musicals, and more, like the Nickelback concert in June that Wade's going to. Get your ticket July at SeatGeek.
July.
And if you use promo code BellyUpSports, you get $20 off your first purchase at SeatGeek.com. Remember, that's promo code BellyUpSports, all one word, $20 off your first purchase. SeatGeek, life's an event. We have the tickets. So if you're in the Philly area or the Kansas City area and you're looking for some tickets, go to SeatGeek, create a new account, use a new email, get $20 off. Boom, there you go.
Yep.
Easy money.
So
use our code because those tickets are like $1,000 each.
Yeah, Belly Up Sports.
Yeah, really.
$20 off. Instead of $1,000,
and make sure, and it's color coded, so make sure to get the green. Don't go for the red. Get the green.
Why the green?
That's what SeatGeek does. It does like a rating of like how good of a deal it is. So like 10 usually is the highest, and like 1 is the lowest. Like Wade and I can attest to this with our Saints adventures. We use SeatGeek and also the code as well. So we got some good deals with it, especially that one year whenever the Rams and the Saints that game of the year.
That's right.
What last little tidbit to wrap up NFL. I saw a quote from Kyle Shanahan saying, Jimmy Garoppolo has an outside chance to be ready for the NFC Championship game, but there's a better chance for him to be ready for the Super Bowl.
You can't do it.
No, you got to stick.
Can't break up the momentum.
Yeah. Maybe it was taken out of context and they're going to use him as a backup, which makes sense. But you can't bench Brock Purdy right now and throw in Jimmy G.
No,
I think he was just saying for depth.
Okay.
Yeah. It's got to be for depth purposes. I don't think that Kyle Shanahan would do something like that, try and break up the momentum. I mean, you've been riding with the guy since week 8, and look at you, you're 12-0.
But I've never heard an NFL team debate between 3 guys on being your starting quarterback, because most teams in this predicament would be just happy to be here.
They're not going to the playoffs when they're when they're starting their third string quarterback.
Yeah, like you'd be talking about bringing Jimmy G back to be the starter. Like if Brock Purdy wasn't in the equation, like you could make the argument that Jimmy Garoppolo deserves to be the starter over Trey Lance. But you could also make the argument that Trey Lance is better in all 3 of them. And then you got the argument of this guy got you to the Super Bowl.
Right.
It's like every year their narrative changes. I mean, going into the year is like the San Francisco 49ers like, oh, Trey Lance is going to be our guy. And then last year it's like, oh, Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be our guy. And then this year, oh, wait, Brock Purdy, he came out of nowhere. He's going to be our guy. So it's like you don't know every year.
This screams a Philly Nick Foles situation where one of them's getting traded. Or, well, Jimmy G's probably just going to sign somewhere else. He's a free agent, so.
I mean, I think if they could get back similar capital that they put in for Trey Lance, then I think that might be the way to go. Because, I mean, they could probably trade him to
New Orleans Saints.
New Orleans or
Washington.
The New York Jets or something. Like, they could get the Jets' first-round pick, and that would almost be fair because, I mean, they spent the number 3 pick on him. You're not going to get that back. But if you could get a first-round pick back, it's kind of like a refund. You could use it to bolster another position on your team and roll with Brock Purdy.
Yeah. I mean, it's tough because, like you said, they spent their number 3 pick and they want to see how he develops. He may be even better than Brock Purdy, and they got 2 Super Bowl caliber quarterbacks on their team. But the world may never know.
We haven't seen Lance much on the field, so we can't really say much if he's like an NFL caliber yet.
Exactly. The world may never know. It's like, how many licks does it take to get to the center of a Tootsie Pop? You never know. Let's get to our dog of the week. Play the intro, and then I want to hear what y'all got. Dog of the week picks. Well, Wade, we'll let you start it off. Who you got for your dog of the week?
All right. So, dog of the week, I'm going to go with Angel Reese of LSU basketball, women's basketball, that is. LSU women's basketball is 20-0. And
Big game against South Carolina next week.
that is true. And Tennessee as
Tennessee
well.
on Monday. Yep.
Yeah.
That's a tough week for LSU, but yeah, 20-0 start. And Angel Reese has a double-double in all 20 games she has played in. So really good start for her and the team. And I'm wearing an LSU basketball shirt for those of you on our YouTube. That was back in the good days for the men's side. Now I'm thoroughly convinced that the women could take down the men because they can't shoot and they're not very physical and they score 40 points a game. So Angel Reese is the opposite of all that. She's absolutely
She scores 40
solid.
points a game.
Well, she scored more points probably in a game than they did in the first half against Arkansas, only 14.
Yeah, that's pretty rough.
So that's our first female dog of the week. And
There we
I know
go.
there's a nickname for a female dog, but that's not what I'm alluding to.
We're not going to call the segment that this week.
Oh gosh, our dog
if-
of the week is going to get canceled if you say that.
I don't think Angel would appreciate that if we called it that for this week. We'll stick with dog of the week. She got that dog in her. All right. What Tyler, who you got?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with basketball as well. I'm actually going to go to last night's game, the Trail Blazers and the Jazz. The Blazers ended up defeating the Jazz at home. And you know what time it is? It's Dame time. Damian
Dame
Lillard
time,
dropped
baby.
60 points. Now, this isn't the most points in the regular season of this season. It was Donovan Mitchell. He scored 71. But I had another dog of the week that week. But this time, Dame time gets my dog of the week pick.
My dog of the week won me some money, and I alluded to it at the beginning of the show. Ricky Fowler birdieing hole 18 to make the cut at even par and to keep my parlay alive. So, Ricky, I thank you. But that's our dog of the week. And
Ricky has always been one of my favorites, but he can just never get
Well-
over. He's been so close, top 5s, top 10s, in the Masters and the major tournaments, but he could just not get over the hump. It's like a Rory, whenever Rory got so
Yeah.
close, and then
You just gotta get that
we're now
win.
seeing Rory just break out. So we'll see if this can be finally the year that Ricky can break through.
Yeah. A couple other headlines before we get to the famed TMZ sports segment of the week. Arkansas men's baseball team issues participation
Here we
ring
go
for
again.
the College World Series. They must have liked Texas A&M ring because they copied it. Arkansas, they were I guess technically 5th is what they finished. Did they get knocked out second round?
I thought they made it to the semifinal again.
Oh,
Did they?
Okay, so maybe
I'm
I don't
not
know.
sure. It was so long
Doesn't
ago.
matter.
I think
You don't need a ring
It's like-
for it.
Yeah, you should only get a ring if you win the whole damn thing. And I loved all the Mississippi State and Ole Miss fans that were in, whenever Arkansas, the Twitter account. So I don't know. That's just stupid. It's like participation trophies. What are we doing?
And then I saw a TikTok on a Kansas City Chiefs super fan that I sent y'all. The man shows up to every game dressed in Chiefs gear, every away game, every home game. And somebody did some digging, and he didn't show up to the last game. It turns out because he was arrested, because the way he funds his crazy experience is he goes and robs banks in the away cities and uses that money to buy the ticket to go to the game. So that one,
There's some
I
heist going on. This is
Yeah.
straight out of Grand Theft Auto.
saw that. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. That guy is insane. But he wanted to see his Chiefs football game. So I think the Chiefs, when he gets out of prison, they should hook him up with some season tickets.
So what's he going to do next year when they play in Germany? He's going to make an international heist?
He's not coming back from Germany.
I don't think he can fly.
He's going to call up the courts of Hitler and see what we can do to
That's
rob
a
German
Brittany
bank.
Griner situation right there. Waiting
He's
to
not
happen.
going to get. He's going to get detained.
Yeah, he's not getting out of there. And then another old basketball story. I'm sure everybody's seen it by now. Shannon Sharp, in his way too tight cardigan, gets ejected from the Lakers versus Grizzlies game for arguing with a player on the court. And then with John Morant's dad, they got into it, and then they escorted Shannon Sharp out. Which, dude, you're sitting courtside. Just let the guys play. You can chirp them, but don't go like that. That's ridiculous. I expect it from Skip, but not Shannon. I'm surprised to see it on that hand.
That's why they're show together.
That show is
Exactly.
tanking.
Big time. Big time.
Undisputed.
Speaking of tanking, if you want to tank your drives or Piper, you can head on over
We're
to
hitting home runs like Tommy Tanks will in less than a month.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about some college baseball. LSU ranked number 1 right now.
We could start getting into that next week, probably.
Once some football wraps up, we'll have to fill the show with something. But this week's TMZ Sports segment is brought to you by our friends over at Piper Golf. Pipe your golf, or that didn't make any sense.
Pipe your ball.
Pipe your drives with Piper golf balls, tour quality balls at a non-tour quality price. Head on over to piper.golf/sports/scramble10. Get 10% off your first order. TMZ segment. Did y'all see the I don't know if I'm saying this right. Duquesne men's basketball game?
Duquesne. But that was better.
Oh
than
my
your
gosh, here
first
we
attempt
go
at it.
again. We've had the same issue whenever Florida
You said
State
DeQuesne
whooped on
last
them.
time.
Yeah, it was worse. So at least this time it's getting closer. But
I thought I recognized the school name. Whatever, Duquesne men's basketball game was delayed.
It's a French name. It's a French name school.
It was delayed last night against Loyola Chicago because an Uber Eats delivery man walks onto the court.
Okay, that had to be staged or something.
So,
there's no way that this Uber Eats man is.
Update. The weird scene at Duquesne men's basketball game was deemed to be a prank after all. It was done for internet exposure, the school says. So at
for
least
Uber Eats?
No, they wanted to go viral. The school needs media interaction.
So there's like, okay, one night, let's just get a random Joe Brony off the streets and dress him up and give him a random McDonald's bag, probably fill of nothing, and just let him walk on the court.
Their official statement is, while the incident may have seemed funny at the time, no harm was done. We are mindful that incidents like this can put players and officials at risk. What's crazy is, who thought of that?
Yeah, who thought that was a good idea? Whoever who thought of that should be fired.
Well, we've had the discussion on how to pronounce Duquesne twice now on the show because of props like this, so it did work.
That's true.
Yes, we are giving them the internet exposure that they wanted.
Yeah, that's true.
No, I know why they were on the show the first time, because Florida State played Duquesne, and Chet boldly said, LSU's not Duquesne. We're going to go in there and whoop their tail.
Yeah, played them week 0, and look what happened.
Hopefully you don't make the same mistake this year, because they're going to be way better than they were this year.
Yeah, so shout out Piper Golf sponsoring our Teams Esports segment of the week with the Duquesne Uber Eats driver.
There you go.
I'm saying it right now. So
that's some courtside service, though. Just
exactly
pull out of nowhere and go give them a McDonald's.
So y'all got anything else? I think that.
I knew that wasn't real, because there's no way that security would let some idiot walk on the court like that.
Yeah, totally agree. It's funny that the school just kind of owned up to it. It happened last night, and they just already like, oh yeah, we.
If you want interaction, that's definitely not the way to do it. In 2023, social media is how you get your school name up.
Well, that's how they did it. They put it on TikTok.
Well, yeah, I know that, but that's really not. That's like a bad reputation way to get your school out.
Hey, any bad publicity is good, or any whatever
publicity is good publicity.
There you go. Your fiance is the.
That's Mr. TikTok himself.
Yeah. Y'all got anything else before we wrap this show? Because a little shorter one tonight without Jacob.
Yeah, that's all I got.
I think that's a wrap.
Well, of course, we got sports scrambles typically on Sunday nights, but Thursday night this week, and it'll be uploaded on Friday for our audio listeners. College football coast to coast on Monday afternoon, and once the SEC football resumes, our SEC talk will be live on Tuesday nights. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, do us a huge favor. Hit that rating, subscribe, leave us a little bit of a review. You can leave a star review on Spotify. So leave us a 5-star review on Spotify if you love us. We love you if you're listening. Watch it on YouTube. You see our friendly faces every week. Hit us with a subscribe on there, like, share, comment, the whole thing. Put it on the interwebs. You know what to do. So, but yeah, besides that, that's all I got, guys. So appreciate you joining me this Thursday night. We'll talk soon. I'm sure we will. We text every day, and I'm excited for the championship weekend in football, and then I'm excited to beat Wade's butt in golf in a few weeks. So we'll have a preview of our match.
You say that until I have Tyler fly in unexpectedly and be my secret weapon.
Yeah, I gotta watch out for that. So
We do need to get the whack part 2 going, hopefully.
That's
yeah,
right.
we'll have to schedule that. Maybe we'll steal Wade away from his wedding, and we'll have the whack in New Orleans or something. But
yeah, fat chance.
yeah, that's like maybe after. But nonetheless, appreciate everybody listening, and we hope you have a wonderful week.